Welcome to day 25 of the 100 Days of Python Code Along With Me challenge. I'm Bill Mosley, and if you want to have access to the entire listing of the 100 Days of Python videos, you can go to my website at www.bmosley.com/hdp. There's a link below in the notes for this video if you need it. Let's get started with day 25. So day 25, we are going to create an app that will simulate a fruit stand, kind of like what you might find at a farmer's market or something like that. So it's an app that will keep track of the inventory of different fruit that we might find in our fruit stand. And what we're going to use today is a data structure called a nested dictionary. And what that means is that it's a dictionary object that contains other dictionary objects. And the way that's structured, if you remember, a dictionary object has a structure that looks like a key and value pair. So we have a key, and then we have a value like this. Okay, and those are often found in, or they are found in brackets like this, where we have key and value pairs. Key and value pairs that make up this data structure. And so in a nested dictionary, instead of just key and value like this, what we have is we have a key, and then the value instead is another dictionary object with more key and value pairs in it. And if we're doing this right, the inner dictionaries have the same format as each other. So in other words, this has the same key and value pairs as this does. And that allows us to have a data structure that's sort of uniform and useful. So in terms of the fruit stand, if I say dfruit for dictionary fruit, I like to name my variables with a little clue at the very beginning as to what kind of data structure it is. So if I use D, it's for a dictionary. But if I use this structure with the fruit dictionary, what I might say is apples as the key, and then the value for that pair will be another dictionary. And in that dictionary, I'm going to have quantity, and the quantity will be an integer. Let's say I have 10 apples, and the price for 10 apples, or for each apple, will be, let's just say 49 cents. And that will be a floating point number, or a float data type. And so that is my first type of fruit that's in that dictionary. And now I'm going to add another. Let's say I'm going to add oranges. And then I'm going to say quantity again on those. And I'm going to have 20 oranges to start. And the price, not the the price of each orange is, let's say, 79 cents. And I think that that'll be a sufficient starting point for my dictionary at this point. And you can see here that I've got the outer set of brackets, and then each key here, apples is the name of a fruit, has a value that is associated with it, and the value for that is another dictionary with key and values in it. So that's what a nested dictionary looks like. And I'm going to keep that structure to start with, and I'm going to build my application around that. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to list the fruit that are in my inventory. List fruit. So let's define a list fruit function. and it's going to take a dictionary object, and inside I'm going to call it D main, and that's going to be my generic dictionary object that exists only inside this. So when I pass this into this spot, then inside the function I'm going to refer to it as D main. So what do I want to do when I list D fruit? Now, there is something important to remember, is that remember each value here is a dictionary object. So if I'm going to iterate through these things, I need to keep that in mind. So I'm going to say for str fruit, comma, d data, which will be the innermost dictionary object in d main dot items, and then I'm going to print, and I want to think about how I want to format this stuff. So let's make it an F string here, and I'm gonna say str fruit, and I'm gonna say L just, L just, not J just, L just for left justify, and I'm gonna left justify that in a line of 15, and then we are going to have quantity and numbers. We always want to right justify, and I can't imagine more than like 5 digits here. I don't know. 5 digits is probably even too many, because 4 digits takes me all the way up to 900 or 9,999. I can't imagine more apples or oranges than that. So we could probably even go 4 digits. So let's go again, another F string here, and we're going to say D data. Now remember, this is referring to this dictionary. So D data, and then in square brackets, we're going to go single quotes because we're inside the double quotes. We don't want to mess things up that way. And we're going to say quantity. Okay. And then we're going to right justify that. And we will say for. And then I'm going to hit a plus sign again, and we'll do the price the same way. So I'm going to copy this because I'm going to reuse a lot of it. We'll change it to price, and then we'll right justify that in another 15. And let's try that right now. I think we've got enough to at least test it out. List fruit, and then we're going to give it D fruit as the data object. And so let's try it and see what we get. Okay, so look at that. It's really nice and lined up. But check this out. Let's say due to inflation, our oranges went way up in price. The nice thing about having it right justified is that everything lines up just the way you want it to. And let's put a $sign in front of the price. That looks really nice. I think there's one more thing I want to do, and that is, instead of just having spaces here, I'm going to have little dots connecting them so you can see what's on that line. And the way we do that is we add a second argument to the left just and the right just. So the second argument is a string that represents the fill character. And you can see here it's PyCharm is just annotating the names of the arguments, but the fill character is right here. So it's comma, then the fill character. And I'm going to do that same thing here in this last one. When I save that, there we go. Now you can see, even though we have variation in the links of some of these things, everything lines up really nicely. So we like that. That's a really good way to do things. And before we list the fruit, I'm just going to say print current inventory. And then afterwards, let's print a nice couple of blank lines. So there we go. Run that current inventory. Everything's beautifully lined up. Let's bring oranges back down to a more normal price. And we'll leave it at that for now. Before we quit for today, I want to add one more thing here, and that is the remove fruit function. This will be relatively short, but let's take a look at it. So we are going to, let's give it a blank line or two first, and then we will say str fruit equals input what fruit do you want to remove? And then we say if str fruit in the main, then we are going to delete str fruit. No, we're going to delete the main bracket str fruit, because remember it's an entry and there we're looking for those keys right there. So we're going to delete that if it's in there, and then we'll print f string str fruit has been deleted. And then if it's not, that's the else case, print str fruit was not found. Okay, so that is a very simple remove fruit function. So we've got list fruit and remove fruit. And what we need to do next is we need to add fruit, and then we probably want to be able to sell fruit and maybe even add new inventory. So we're going to pick that up in tomorrow's challenge. But that's it for today. And please join me for day 26 tomorrow.